What's going on, guys? I got a little bit of a different video for you today. I've got an interview with my girlfriend. We're going to kind of talk shop and vape. We've got a random juice tasting. We're going to test and test a juice that we've been kind of holding back on trying. And then at the end of the video, I've got some advocacy stuff for you guys. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in today. Yeah, see, there's the ums right off the bat. First thing, few things to get started with this week's Rise Vape show. I have with me today my girlfriend Becky.
Hi. Hi.
We've got a random juice tasting. I guess it qualifies as both.
Yeah.
It's kind of a testing and tasting all at once. We've got pineapple cream whip from Crush.
I picked this one.
This is something that she picked out for our last sample box as I throw it everywhere. And neither one of us has tried it yet. Basically just because the smell is kind of a little weird. So we've been kind of waiting, and we figured we would do it on camera for you guys, just for your sheer entertainment and possibly our displeasure. Pineapple cream whip.
Crush. It's by
from
Crush?
Crush.
Yes.
Crush. Crushing the other pineapple cream.
Now, I love pineapple juices, so my go-to is Pineapple Express
Good old Vapetasia.
by Vapetasia. I don't know if that's going to focus.
See, I like a lot of Vapetasia stuff, but I'm a lemonade guy, and I still stand by Vapetasia's Blackberry Lemonade as being the best lemonade I've ever had. That lemonade is so good.
I love the lemonades, but that's more like summer when it's hot out.
I definitely agree. I had a 60 ml bottle over the summer that I crushed.
Good one.
We're going to give it a whirl on the Aegis Legend. I've got the Rebirth loaded up on top with just a black Delrin drip tip just to kind of try to make it matchy for you guys.
So what do I got here? The Vandy Vape Pulse.
80 watt box.
80 watt box.
Squonk box.
Squonk box, because I love to squonk.
She squonks all day.
All day.
Every
I love
day.
squonking. It's so convenient. And yesterday I got this new RDA. It is the...
That is the Yellow Jacket from Bruce Pro Innovations.
He's so much better at names than I am. But it's
Gotta be.
It's really neat. Not that I'm doing a review on this, but...
I will be.
Take off the top, and this is all Ultem.
Ultem?
I know I said that weird, didn't I?
No, I always say Ultem, but I think it's technically pronounced Ultem.
And if you take off the Ultem tip, look at that beautiful squonker on top.
Yeah, guys, I will have a full review of the Yellow Jacket.
I'm excited for his review of this.
Coming up probably next week. I'm hoping to do it next week, so you will see that exact setup. And me, yeah, just that that Heritage Gold from the Milkman. Honey cream tobacco loaded up in the Amit on top of my tried and true Geek Vape Aegis. So an entirely Geek Vape setup, 25 watts. I think it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm running at 60 watts on a single 18650.
Crushing that battery.
Crushing that battery.
Killing that little 18650.
I go through how many?
You want to give a whiff before I
about
wick
2.5
this up?
18650s.
Just to kind of get the aromas going.
All right, let's get it going. It's not bad. It actually smells better than the first time I smelled it for some reason. Maybe it was because I was sick.
I don't know. To me, it's a very like pungent pineapple smell. It's not like that smooth, creamy kind of pineapple smell. It's like very pineapple right off the bat. We're gonna do a little grim green knuckle test. Okay.
What do you think?
I'm actually really excited to vape on that.
I'm excited to try it because I love pineapple, so...
Single fuse Clapton in there. I got her set at 60 watts. She's reading out at a 0.48, so
You want to go first? She's going back pretty quick, so.
I like it a lot.
You like it? I get a lot of the. I definitely get the whipped cream.
On inhale and on exhale, I get pineapple, and the aftertaste is pineapple.
Yeah, it's. How do I want to? It's not like a pineapple, like a true pineapple juice, like a Dole can of pineapple juice. It's like a candied pineapple.
Mhm.
It's like a very candied pineapple.
Have you ever had a Dole Whip? Probably not, because you've never been to Disney.
No, I've never had a Dole Whip.
Okay, a Dole Whip is like, I'm probably gonna get some shit for this. It's just like vanilla ice cream with pineapple juice, and it's delicious. At least that's how I've had it. I apologize if it's made a different way, but that's how I've had it. And
true Dole Whip advocates are
I'm
gonna come down on you.
I think that's kind of what they were going for, though, because I mean, a pineapple cream whip, it basically sounds to me like they were trying to go for a Dole Whip, and that's why I picked the juice.
Have you ever had a yogurt that has pineapple fruit on the bottom?
No, I'm not a big
And it's
yogurt
like
person.
that. It's got the pineapple in it, but it's got that like syrup, that pineapple syrup in it as well. And that's what it reminds me of. That sweeter, like kind of candied pineapple syrup.
Yep, I got you.
That's what I get out of it. It's good though. It's definitely good. This would be something that I call it a session vape.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's an all-day vape.
Yeah, I have my all-day vapes, which are lighter in sweetness and aren't typically coil killers. And then I have my session vapes, which like
to me
is basically what it sounds like. I'll sit down and I'll have just a vape session, and that's what that's for. And
to me, this is definitely not an all-day vape. I feel like for me, I would lose flavor.
Yeah.
I get vapor's tongue.
Yeah, I would definitely. The
so
sweeter
quickly.
the liquid is, the quicker that I'll get vapor's tongue off of it.
Right. So I think this is definitely a session vape, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's definitely. I'm gonna leave that setup going for a little while.
Yeah, let me hit that one more time too.
Hang on. Calm down. Yeah, it's definitely that like syrupy candied pineapple and whipped cream. I don't get the whipped cream until the very end, but it's nice at the end because it just kind of leaves your palate with that like heavier cream-esque.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That's okay.
I keep getting the whip on the inhale and a nice mixture of the whipped cream and the pineapple on the exhale. And then after the whipped cream goes away, you get that nice like
pineapple again, just like right at the tip of your tongue.
Yeah,
left
exactly.
over.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we're getting about the same thing. I think I get a little bit more of the pineapple on the inhale though initially than the whipped cream. All right, cool. So that was the tasting. Yeah, personal preference. Obviously, all taste is subjective, but go ahead. What do you think on a scale of 1 to 5? As far as 1 being I'll never vape this juice again, 5 being I want to vape nothing but this juice for the rest of my life. What's the score?
I would give it a 3.5.
3.5.
I think it's like just a little bit above average.
Okay.
It's a good vape.
For somebody who has a similar taste to you as far as kind of fruity, creamy, and you enjoy pineapple vapes, you give it a solid 3.5.
Maybe a 3.75.
No, we're only doing 0.5 increments. We're not going to go crazy. So 3.5 from you. I'm going to, unpopular opinion, I'm going to give it a 2.5 because I'm not a huge pineapple vape guy. It's more her department than mine. I think it's a good juice. What is it? Does it say whether it's a 70-30 anywhere?
I'm not sure. It might say on our sample box card.
Oh, so it's an 80-20. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to give it a 2.5. It's not a bad juice by any means, especially for an 80-20. You get good vapor production out of it. You get a lot of flavor out of it. It's a very flavorful juice. A lot of that comes from, obviously, the build and the RDA and how we have our setup done. But yeah, definitely a flavorful juice. Definitely a very, very sweet juice. something that I would vape on again, but probably not something I would directly buy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if somebody
see
was
that.
like, "Yo, here's some pineapple cream whip crush."
That's
Do you
why
wanna
I
vape on it?
love Sample Box, because you can get little tastings of juices that you might not normally buy.
We are a big fan of Sample Box.
Yes, big fan. Shout out to Sample Box.
Shout out to Sample Box. I wish I could put a link for you guys down below, but I unfortunately cannot. But if you are interested in becoming a Sample Box member, you can get some really great juices for really great prices. Yeah, that was our juice tasting of the week here. Yeah, and there it is. Got that funky monkey on there. All right. Let's do serious talk. I guess first and foremost, you were a smoker, right?
Yes.
For how long?
I started New Year's Eve 2014. We were at my parents' house celebrating New Year's Eve. My cousin came over and he was smoking back then. He's not a smoker anymore. And he offered me a cigarette, so I took it. And then shortly after, I started working at a restaurant. Really, the only way to get a break was to smoke. Tobacco was so addictive and it was hard to quit, but eventually I started vaping after being encouraged by a friend and Logan, of course.
What was your transitional period like from when you started vaping and until you completely stopped smoking?
I would say it took me about probably a month.
Yeah, I remember that. It was probably about a month.
Yeah, I would bring my vape and my cigarettes to work. I would try not to go out as much for breaks because we were allowed to take as many breaks as we wanted at the job I was at the time.
Which is super nice.
Which is super nice, but kind of bad if you're still smoking cigarettes because then you're going to smoke a lot more. I started vaping on my breaks, slowly tapering off of the cigarettes, switching to the vaping. And then eventually I just didn't have the money for cigarettes anymore. And we live about a half hour away from a reservation. It wasn't worth the drive anymore. It wasn't worth the hassle. Right when there's a locally owned vape shop right here in town, really great guys, really great girls that work there, and they're really informative.
What were the hardest cigarettes of your day to quit? Because I know for me, the hardest, when I started vaping, the very first day that I started vaping, I immediately went from a pack down to 7 cigarettes. And I remember that very fondly because that was such a massive, like, I took to vaping pretty easy and pretty quickly. It only took me about a week to get off cigarettes completely, but I remember the 5 hardest cigarettes for me were morning, my 3 meals, and at night. What were the hardest cigarettes of your day to quit?
I have 3.
3.
3 categories. When you first wake up in the morning, you just want a cigarette, a cup of coffee.
Well, you've been asleep for 8 hours or whatever.
You need to
your
get
body
those nicotine levels back
craving
up.
nicotine pretty heavily. Yeah.
So that was my first. My second, after meals. Still to this day, I always have to vape right after I finish my meal.
I feel like I look really fat when I sit back like this.
I don't think you do. I think it just looks like you're leaving. And third was when I was driving. I was tired of our car smelling like smoke. Now, the worst it'll smell like is fried banana. Just take a shot anytime I say fried banana.
We're going to turn the Rise Vape show is now a drinking game. All right, so it took you about a month to fully transition over. I recently, in the last episode, I talked about dual using. Dual using in itself is probably most likely going to happen with anybody transitioning from conventional tobacco cigarettes over into vaping, but I highly recommend that you make that transition period as short as possible. Really try to power through that and go completely into vaping, because dual using is actually really bad for you. I mean, not only are you smoking and you're getting
your lungs are trying to go from vaping to smoking.
Well, yeah, that especially, you're going from a burnt, dried plant matter to a liquid vapor. But you've got all the harm coming from tobacco cigarettes, that 100% risk coming from tobacco cigarettes, all those chemicals involved. And then you also are intaking that that other 5% of the risk that we talk about being 95% safer, vaping, but you're adding that.
Can I just say also, one of the biggest reasons I quit smoking was for my kids. They learn things at school, and I mean, for example, I like Coca-Cola. They'll tell me, Mom, soda's not good for you.
And both of my kids will tell you that smoking's bad for you.
And they know, they're smart kids, and they would say,
that.
oh, are you going out to smoke again? Or I want to be a good role model for them.
So when it comes to the flavor bans happening across the country and the newest proposed nationwide
is on your side.
I don't know if we can put that in the video. We're gonna go.
Oh yeah, we'll get sued.
Massive copyright infringements. But when it comes to the latest proposed nationwide flavor ban, as an adult smoker, well now vapor, ex-smoker, over the age of 21, how important are flavors other than tobacco menthol to you?
Extremely important. I don't vape tobacco flavors. Not really a big mint person. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm like a cream and fruit type of person. When I was a smoker, I did smoke menthol cigarettes. That's what I preferred. I have found a few brands of juice that are menthol that I enjoy.
But they're fruit and menthol, right?
But they're fruit and menthol.
And if these flavor bans really go into effect across the whole nation, we can no longer buy and purchase flavored nicotines, the government's basically going to be putting that process into the hands of the consumer. Everybody will DIY. They're basically going to put that into the hands of the consumer. And if you want flavored e-liquids, you're going to be doing it yourself. It'll be all DIY, which, I mean, really?
We're looking at getting into that soon.
Which I want to start DIYing my own liquid. But really, if you think about it, it was all DIY to start with. Look at most major juice companies here in the States, and they all started with recipes that they made themselves. And if you go to most local vape shops, they've probably got house juices that they make themselves. There's a lot of DIY out there already. So...
Have you ever shouted out our local shop?
No, I haven't. Big shout out to RW Vapors in Batavia, New York. They are the closest ones to us, the shop that we go to the most often, and they're all really great folks in there. Always happy to help out. I've gone in with mod issues that I've bought from them. They resolve them for me. They're always happy to talk about what kind of specials and stuff they've got going on. Pretty good about having the latest and greatest devices. So
great juice selection.
And their house juices are pretty good too as well. Yeah.
They have a huge house selection.
Huge house selection. They have like over 100 flavors
over
there
for
in
sure.
Just their house. But yeah, big shout out to RW Vapors in Batavia, New York. But yeah, so that, I don't know. I think when it comes to if the FDA really does want to pass this and it goes through across the nation as far as banning flavors, one, you have just this detrimental effect to public health as far as adult smokers having something that they enjoy and that keeps them off of cigarettes. When it comes to vaping, when you're introducing a new smoker to vaping, it can be a lot to take in. There's coils and wattage, and I have to know resistances, and there's things to learn, and it's so much harder than just pulling a cigarette out of a pack and lighting it. But once you have a vapor that finds a flavor that they enjoy, those things become less of a burden, I think, because you're working towards something that's delicious that you want to vape on. There's the coffee. The coffee always goes off in my videos. But yeah, you're working towards that delicious flavor. So it doesn't become as much of a burden to have to like change your coils and do all this and that. But if you were to take the flavors away, once you take those flavors away, you're like, well, I have to do all this stuff. And I'm still just,
To me, even though there's a little more work involved at first, it's still less work than cigarettes. And I can breathe when I walk up my stairs into my apartment.
I think the biggest thing the point that I'm trying to make is like, obviously, people who DIY, people who have been vaping for a long time they're going to be okay. People like you, me, hundreds of thousands of people out there are simply going to order all the things that they need to DIY, and they're just going to make their own juices. I think that's what's going to happen inevitably. But the problem that you're going to create is for new vapors or ex-smokers or smokers that are currently trying to switch over to vaping, and now they only have these handful of choices for the juices, and none of them appeal to them. So now no juice tastes good to them. They're not going to pick up DIYing all that stuff just to quit smoking. They're just going to say, well, fuck it, I'm just going to smoke. And I think that is a massive tragedy. And this industry is here to help people and get people off of conventional tobacco. And when all you're providing them with is 3 subpar flavors, I mean, yeah, straight menthol. Like, I don't want just a menthol vape.
No, that would be too much.
And I don't want just like, oh, here, vape on this spearmint.
Ugh, I hate spearmint.
You know what I mean? Like
spearmint is the worst.
It doesn't
mint.
appeal to me. Like, and I vape tobacco juices, but they typically have something in them as well.
Let
like
me
cream and stuff.
Let me throw in something really quick too. I'm sorry, I keep on coming up with these reasons why I quit smoking.
Hey, the more reasons to quit smoking, the better.
These things are popping in my head as we go.
Let them pop, baby.
So I smoked for about 4 years, right? My grandmother, the person I was probably closest to, she and my grandfather, who were married for 47 years, they passed away from lung cancer, from smoking. My grandma did quit smoking before she passed away, but she had been smoking for 40 years, so...
Isn't that insane how some people can smoke for like 80 years? Like, you'll meet this old curmudgeon-y old man who's like, I've been smoking for 72 years, and you're just like, oh shit.
But I mean, I was proud of my grandma when she quit smoking. She had to quit for surgery, but she did it nonetheless. My father and my mother were not for smoking, obviously, what parents want to see their kids smoking. So I hid it from them for years. I would not smoke around them. I would spray perfume all over myself. I would chew gum, and it took a lot to hide it from them. And finally, we went on a family vacation to Florida, and I couldn't hide it from them. And I knew that they weren't happy with me, and I want to make my parents happy. So that was another reason why I quit smoking, because it's when you're trying to hide it from somebody, it becomes this whole thing, and you don't need to waste your life.
I think the biggest thing that comes from that is guilt.
So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Let's dive down a little bit into some advocacy and some things that have been going on this week. And one article that really stood out to me is an article from BioMed Central, and this is part of their harm reduction journal, and it is titled, "What is the value of peer involvement in tobacco harm reduction?" And it goes on to talk about peer involvement, meaning your friends or whatever, family members encouraging you to stop smoking and getting into e-cigarettes and vaping. It's a really great article. I will post the links down below. A quick little blurb, let me read one thing from here that really stood out to me. And it says, one advisor observed that vapers are becoming stop smoking advisors. Unlike those who had quit smoking with licensed medication, those who quit with vaping became powerful advocates for switching among their friends and family, sharing their devices and giving encouragement to those still smoking to try vaping. Evidence from stop smoking services in England demonstrates superior quit rates among those who choose a non-licensed product, of between 14 and 20% greater than for prescribable nicotine replacement therapy alone. Currently, we are seeing the involvement of peers shaping smoke-free policies by advising on approaches to supporting vaping as a smoking cessation tool. And I think that's incredibly accurate and important, because I know personally, me, whenever I, talk to a friend who smokes or whatever, I try not to shove it down their throat or anything, but I always kind of plug in like, hey man, you could get off of those and give vaping a chance, and oh man dude, those are terrible, that shit's gonna kill you. Why don't you try my vape, see if this is any better, if that tastes better to you or whatever. I'm always trying to encourage that switch, without sounding like, like, hey, stop right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like turn people off by being a little bit too much, but it's always nice to kind of plug it in there and encourage that maybe they give vaping a chance. And I've had a number of my friends personally, in real life, stop smoking and have started vaping just because of positive encouragement and a general care for their health. My friends, my family obviously are very dear to me and very important to me, and I want them to live long, happy, healthy lives. And that's not really what comes from smoking cigarettes. I'm always trying to encourage people. I'm always trying to encourage viewers who are maybe on the fence about vaping, and that's why we do these advocacy things and we share these articles and reports and stuff like that. Yeah, I think making the switch is extremely important, and I think the more people that get involved with that and the more people that show positive encouragement when it comes to making that switch, it just becomes that much easier for people if they have friends and family involved along the way to help them, especially friends. I think family is a different category on its own. Your family members can tell you that you're doing something wrong or bad or whatever, and chances are you're going to be like, yeah, I get it, Aunt Jean. I should stop smoking. Thanks, Aunt Jean. I don't have an Aunt Jean, but whatever. But when, your best friend finally quits smoking and they start vaping and you start seeing how they handle it and what the benefits are to them, I think them sharing that with their friends is extremely important, because then they're not just getting the media BS that's blown around them all the time. They're getting firsthand, real world, evidence kind of thrown in their face with their friends about the benefits of switching from tobacco cigarettes to vaping. Alright, so and when it comes to flavor bans and things like that, the best thing that you can possibly do is to join CASAA right here, CASAA.org. Get involved, write your senators, write your representatives and your congressmen and all the people that are up at the top of the I guess proverbial food chain when it comes to these matters. Let them know your story. Let them know what flavors mean to you as an adult ex-smoker, and get involved. Get involved. Join CASAA. Check out SVATA and all the other organizations out there that are really trying to make a difference when it comes to tobacco harm reduction, and voice your story. The more stories that they have, the better. Okay, the better it looks for all of us. The better it looks for this industry. Something that you're passionate about, if you truly care about tobacco harm reduction and the overall health of your lungs, please do yourself a favor, get out there, join CASAA, and go to the calls to action in your local areas. Be heard, be seen, and be involved. That's really all I've got today, guys. This has been fun. This has been a really good morning. I have tons and tons of video to edit right now, so that's what I'm going to be doing right after me and my girlfriend go to the gym. So there's a little bit more get healthy for you. As always, guys, this has been a great time. Thanks for hanging around and watching. I truly do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart and lungs. I'm Logan. This has been the Rise Vape Show. And as always, let's keep on vaping.